everybody. Thank you so much for watching. It's an absolute pleasure to see you again. And if you're new here, then welcome. I'm hoping you guys remember this video from a couple of months ago. Let's have a quick look. They've got some new ones in. Look at this. This is fantastic. Really bright colors. It's a bit rough. But, starting to come apart here. And someone's tried to salvage it with some thread, just a bit of cotton thread. You know what? Got a bit of an idea with this actually. $2. $2, wow. I'm thinking I could grab this and possibly frog those joins there and turn this into like a jumper or a cardigan or something. That'd be fantastic actually. What a great project. Well, just like I said in that video, I definitely need to make something of that beautiful blanket. And it's time! I had to shelve this project for Christmas because we all got so busy right before Christmas. But finally, it's time to do it. Let's get started. Okay, so I've done a couple of calculations, and this particular blanket is a 90 square blanket. So we've got 9 squares by 10 squares across the whole blanket. So by going by my calculations, I think I'm going to need about 72 squares, which is perfect. So I just need to figure out the layout of the panels. So let's get started doing that now. So here's the measurements. Here's my little sketch I put together. It's not really to scale, so bear with me. I just needed to see exactly how many squares I'm going to need. So I've worked out I'm going to need a 6x5 back panel. So I'll need 30 squares in a single block there, or to try and put together a block of 30 squares there. Then I've got my sleeves, which are going to be 4x4, so 16 squares each on either side. And then I've got 2 front panels that are 5x2. Now, normally I would do either 3 squares across, but I'm thinking that if I decide to add ribbing later, that's going to bridge that gap between here and here anyway. So I'd rather leave it with the 2 squares on either side and have the 2 square gap for my neck and my head in through here. And then if I need to fill in any of that space, I can do that with some ribbing. So I still haven't decided if I want to do any ribbing around it yet. I really just want to put it together and then make that decision from there. So over here you can see I've calculated I need 72 squares and the blanket has 90. So we've got 9 rows of 10 and that's perfect. There's plenty of squares there. So hopefully I've got some spares if I need them. Okay, so first step is to get these panels cut out. So what I'm going to need to do is get rid of this outer edging. Unfortunately, I was hoping I could keep it, but considering the fact that I've got to separate some of these squares into panels and the edging goes right the way around the blanket, I'm going to have to frog it, unfortunately, but I'll hang on to it in case I can use it for stitching up the blanket. So I'll frog that, get my panels all cut out and sorted out, and then I'll get back to you when I'm starting to put it all together. All right, guys, let's do this. Okay, so I found a join just in here with the edging. Here we go. Just here, you can see it's already started to come apart. It's starting to fray already. So here's my starting point. I'll frog this round and keep this beautiful yarn. And then I can use this to help to join the panels when I'm ready to stitch them together. All right, let's get started. Let's do this. This is going to look great, guys. I'm so excited. Oh, okay, here's a bit of a snag. It's been stitched into with a sewing machine. Okay. All right. and that's holding these two squares together. So let's cut this little section here just to see if I can get through this bit here. All right, I'm through. Okay, so I'll have to rejoin those two for that panel if I need it. All right, keep going, keep going. So once this edging has been removed, then I can start sectioning the panels, and then I can start rearranging everything and putting it together for my cardigan. This edging is lovely, by the way, just very simple picot edging, but it works beautifully. All right, what have we got here? Bit of a knot. Okay. All right, I'll come back to you once I've sorted all this out and I've frogged all the edging, and then we'll start sectioning the panels. See you soon, guys. Okay, so the frogging's done, and you can see I got quite a bit of yarn from that edging, which is fantastic. So I'll be able to reuse this to stitch my panels around. So that's fantastic. Loving that color, by the way. Look at it. Isn't it glorious? Beautiful. But while I was frogging, I did realize there's a couple of squares where the final round just seems to have disintegrated. And so while they were doing the edging, they've just stitched the edging into this round rather than finish off the final round. So either I'm going to have to figure out to join here and complete that round. I might have to frog that whole round from that square, which would look a bit odd because I can't match this yarn, this purple colour, and then all the other squares would have the same colour purple except for this one. Or, and probably more likely, when I'm working out my panel sections, I'll have to see if I can try to exclude this particular square if possible. It's the worst one affected by this issue. The rest of them look pretty good. You can see a lot of them are starting to fray and come apart anyway. But the majority of them are actually pretty well joined, have all of their rounds completed. Some are starting to come apart where they were joined anyway, which will help when I'm doing my sectioning for my panels. Hopefully I don't have to pull too much of it apart. But now I need to sit down and see here, there's a big gap here. These guys are coming apart already. So now I'll need to work out my panels and just see if there is a way to exclude those problem squares. So these guys over here, this one's not too bad. It's still got a complete round, but this one, unfortunately, if I can't match that yarn, which I don't think I can with anything in my stash anyway, I might have to try and leave this square out just to match it. All right, so my next step is to lay this blanket out and divvy up the sections for the panels, and then I can start unpicking where I need to and rejoining where I have to and start assembling my cardigan panels. All right, I'll get stuck into that and I'll bring you back when I've done a little bit more on that. All right, see you soon, guys. Okay, so back panel has been separated from the rest of the blanket. So hopefully you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across, 6 squares across, and we've got 5 panels or 5 squares down. So 6 across, 5 down, and that should be my back panel there. So there's a couple of things I need to just join in, a couple of missed stitches here, and another one over here. And I've just got to go back through and make sure that the edges are secure. But there's my back panel done. And I will say, whoever assembled this blanket originally, or whoever tried to salvage it when it started to come apart, did a brilliant job of all their joins. Their stitch work has been incredible. So it hasn't been easy pulling this apart, let me tell you. But we're one panel down, so that's good. We've got a couple more to go. So next I'll start working on my sleeves. So I'll have a bit of a dig around, lay the rest of the blanket out and see what looks nice and even, which parts of the blanket are still holding up quite well. And I'll see where I can start pulling apart different panels and making sure I've left enough for my front panels as well. I have been able to avoid that problem square so far. So this is still over here. So hopefully I can still keep that out of the rest of the panels. And the next step will be to lay the rest of the blanket out, put the back panel aside. So that's out of the way. Let's find the sleeves and the 2 front panels and start sectioning them off next. All right. It's already starting to come together, guys. It's looking really good. Okay, back soon. All right, so just a quick update for you guys. This panel here, I don't know if you can see the whole thing. This will be one of the sleeves, so this panel here. And I've also got the back panel sectioned out and done. So I've still got one more sleeve panel and the 2 front panels to go, and then I'll be able to start piecing the cardigan together. So I'll keep going with the unstitching, which has actually taken me a lot longer than I thought, because whoever put this blanket together did such an amazing job of stitching it all together. So good on them. This is taking a while, but I'm being very careful because I don't want to damage the material that I've got. So okay, piece by piece, it's slowly coming together, but it's going to look fantastic. All right, guys, I'll catch up with you again soon. So just a quick update. All of the panels are now cut out and separate and have all been frogged. So I have a bunch of yarn to be able to use to stitch it all back together, which is fantastic. So I'm just working on the front panels now. So there's that one there that's pretty good to go. Just have a little couple of tails here that I need to weave in and just make sure that everything's secure. Just double check that all the grannies are sitting flush and all secure together. And then same thing with the other side. So I have to join these 2. So I need to stitch those up the middle there and add on one more square because I really liked the colours in that one, so I kept that square. So I just need to attach that and then sew that up the middle. So the front panels are then finished, and then I can start putting all the other panels and all the pieces back together. So fingers crossed it's going quite well. It's going to take me a fair bit of time though, so I've got to start stitching. All right, guys, I'll check back in soon. How exciting. Okay, so just another update for you guys. So my panels are all organized. I do need to do a little bit more cleanup around some of the edges. So as an example, there's some that are starting to come apart. So I need to fix that up before I start attaching those guys. That's the sleeve over there. But what I'm up to now is at just this point here. So I'm going to attach these 2 front panels to the back panel here. So I'm basically going to sew across here and join the front and the back panels. And then when the front panels are on, then I'll start attaching the sleeves on either side. So then I'll be sewing along here and along here. So then my sleeves will be attached, and then I'll keep working around. So for now, sewing here and here to attach the 2 front panels, and making sure the back panel's nice and secure. So here we have the back panel just down here, and here's my two front panels. So I need to stitch the gaps here and just stitch them across on either side across the top there. So those will be my shoulder points, and then my sleeves will attach along here. So let's get these front panels on and we'll keep going from there. All right. Another quick update for you. The front panels are now on both sides, which is fantastic. It's starting to look more like a piece of clothing now. I know it's a bit hard for you guys to see. I can't really get the whole thing in the shot. But once my sleeves are on, they're going to go on here. So I'm just going to sew them up on this side. There's the shoulder across there. So I'll sew these up and get those on. And then I'll try it on before I sew along the bottom here and close up the sleeves. So I'll try it on once the sleeves are attached. I do have a couple of spare squares over here, just in case I need to enlarge any aspect of the cardi, or if I need some more room somewhere. I don't have many though, so I can't really do too much. I have to be pretty sparing with these extra squares. That's about it really. So I'll do my best. Hopefully it'll fit. But I'll get these sleeves on and then we can have a bit of a try on and see how it's looking. I got too excited. I wanted to try it on, so I pinned it all together so I could have a quick look. And this is how it's looking. What do you think? What do you think, guys? It's coming together. Oh, I'm pretty excited. I'm a little concerned about this gap here. I'm hoping the back panel will pull forward a little bit. And it is just a cropped cardigan. I didn't have enough squares to make it any longer, but I don't mind as long as it's sitting around my hips, I'm fine. And if I need it any longer, I can always add ribbing and stuff to the bottom and also around the front. So if I need to pull it further around, I'll just add some ribbing. But for now, it's looking pretty good. The panels worked really well. So I've got to sew along here and then down the side and then do the same thing on this side. So I've got to sew the sleeve and down the side, and then it'll be done. So much hard work, but you know what? Totally worth it. I am loving this. It's so colourful. I love it. I may have a new favourite cardi. Shh, don't tell my other one. Okay, good morning, guys. It is the next day and I am very tired because I stayed up quite late last night attaching one sleeve. So you can see here that here's the sleeve all along here. It's looking pretty good. That's now attached. I still need to sew along the bottom of the sleeve along here and along the side of the cardigan, but I'll do that once the other sleeve is attached. So that's where I'm up to. I've got to attach this sleeve and then work around. So we're getting there. It's starting to look really good, guys. I'm really excited, even though I am very, very tired after pulling a crafters special and staying up till the wee hours. But I'm back at it again and we're going to get this done today and it's going to look fantastic. All right, let's keep stitching. So I'm about halfway through attaching the second sleeve. I'm not really using any particular stitch technique. I'm just basically going through both loops of one stitch and then through both loops of the corresponding stitch on the other side. So no real technique. I'm not using any particular stitch or anything. just trying to join them and making sure that they're as secure as possible. Also, being able to recycle the yarn that was used for the edging is fantastic. It's keeping this whole cardigan completely original, which is awesome. I really like that I'm able to do that. I'm reusing it all and being able to repurpose the blanket. It's just brilliant. What a fun, amazing little project. This has just been great. I mean, having an absolute ball doing this. I wouldn't mind doing it again, actually, if I find another blanket like this. Maybe making a jumper next time, or a sweater, or maybe a skirt or something like that. That'd be interesting. I wonder how that would come together, actually. Be pretty unique. I've seen people make pants out of them too, but I don't think that would be a good look on me. It'd have to be a pretty big blanket. But so far, I'm really enjoying this. This is a great little project. There's a lot more sewing and a lot less crochet, unless, of course, you made the blanket yourself, in which case you'd be making the whole thing from scratch, which would be fantastic as well. Something else I'd like to do one day. I'll put that on the whip list. But for now, I'm pretty happy being able to salvage what I can and repurpose it. I mean, this poor blanket would have ended up in landfill if I hadn't have bought it. And where is it? Where's that tag? For $2, I mean, yeah, it needs a little bit of TLC, but who doesn't these days? Come on. A little bit of TLC to keep you moving and to keep it going, to be able to repurpose it and be able to wear it proudly out in the community. No doubt someone will walk past me one day and say, hey, that looks like my blanket. And then I get to tell them the amazing story of how I found it and salvaged it and turned it into something new. Wouldn't that be amazing? Imagine that. Imagine being someone that crafted something and then had to give it away, or for whatever reason thought, okay, it's had its time to pass it on to someone else. And a couple of months later, you walk down the street and see somebody wearing your design or your creation, and they've repurposed it. Maybe they've made a couple of different bags, or a nice sweater or a skirt or something. Maybe they've made something really functional out of something that you thought didn't have any more use left in it. Wouldn't that be incredible? Would you say something to them, do you think? Would you go up and say, that's my blanket, I donated that not long ago? Would you just sort of smile and keep it to yourself, or would you go up and introduce yourself as the original creator? I don't know. I don't think I would. I think I'd rather just smile and know that the universe is making sure that my little creation is out there somewhere and making someone happy. How lovely. Wouldn't that be amazing? That's just beautiful. That's just my thought process on it anyway. Of course, I am tired and it was very late when I went to bed last night, so I hope I'm making sense right now. How much more have I got to go? Just one more square. All right. I'll keep going. Let's see how much longer it'll take me to get this finished. Hopefully not too long. Ooh, okay, guys. Last 2 squares. I'm going to have to go back and just find all the little bits that are starting to fall apart, but last 2 squares to go, and then I'm all done. It's getting exciting. All right, let's get these last 2 stitched up, and then I can put it on and have a look. I'm going to be so colourful. It's going to be amazing. This is so awesome. I'm really proud of this effort. This is just fantastic. I love that we have the option available to us to go down to the local thrift store find an amazing blanket, needs a little bit of TLC, you put all that in, and then you're able to do stuff like this. Like, this is just fantastic. Isn't it wonderful? We can take someone else's work that was probably going to end up in landfill, unfortunately, and then make something new and unique with it. That's just fantastic. And I am hoping that the original designer or creator would be happy to know that that's what's become of their project. I hope so anyway. Oh, this is the final stitch. All right, let's secure this. Do another couple of back and forths. Weave in this end here. Just hide that through there. Nice and secure. Make sure it's nice and flat. That's pretty good. All right. Cut that off. Ooh. Turn it back inside out and then I can try it on. Yes, and it's done. Yay! All right, let's try it on and have a good look at it. How exciting! Ooh, how exciting. Moment of truth, guys. Here we go. So, here she is all finished. Isn't she beautiful? All right. Here I go. Please fit, please fit, please fit, please fit, please fit. Ah. What do you think? Oh, she's beautiful. Oh, I'm really happy with that. It's a nice little cropped cardi. So I think I'm loving these sleeves. These are just awesome. They're so comfortable. Great length. I really love that. I don't know. Maybe it needs some ribbing. I need to think about it. But for now, isn't this awesome? What do you think, guys? Did I do an okay job? I'm so happy. So what do you think, guys? I've still got my glasses on. I'll just put those over there. What do you think? I think she's pretty adorable, very colourful. I had so much fun making that, and considering there's very little crochet involved, unless, of course, you crochet all the squares. But the whole idea was being able to find a beautiful little blanket and be able to turn that into something new and useful and just rescue that beautiful little blanket that would have ended up in landfill anyway if no one had bought it. And I mean, for $2, why wouldn't you even just try? And I mean, there's so many things you could do with that blanket. You could have made bags, could have been jumpers, could have been a lot of different projects. But for me, little cropped cardies, just perfect. Now, if it had been a bigger blanket and there'd been more squares, I could have made it a little bit longer. I could have maybe put some more panels, make the panels in the front a little bit bigger. But I'm really happy with what I was able to do. There was 90 squares in the original blanket, so I was limited to that sort of design. So I'm really glad that I drew up my little diagram here. That really helped to be able to work out my maths in terms of how many squares for each panel and how I would put them together. So that was really helpful. So I suggest if you do take up a project like this, these diagrams that you draw up in the beginning will be really, really help you, and they'll save so much time down the track if you're just trying to pull it all together and you're not quite sure how many squares here and to make sure it's even. A diagram at the front of your project will be, or at the start of your project will be very, very helpful and save you a lot of time. Now I've got a couple of squares left over. So some of them, you can see here that this one's kind of disintegrating a little bit. The final round just kind of fell apart. So I can't really do too much with that unless I frog the last round or add a new one. So I'll hang on to that just in case. But I ended up with about 7 squares. So it would have been 8 if that one was okay. This one's also starting to fall apart though from the inside out. So I don't know that I can do much to salvage that one either. But I've got a couple of spare squares. So if I want to add a pocket maybe later on down the track, I can do that. I might be able to make a glasses case or something like that with these squares. So I'm not going to throw those out. I want to reuse those as well. And I also ended up with a bunch of leftover yarn from the edging that I frogged around the outside of the blanket. So I'm hanging onto that as well. I actually used this to stitch up the squares and stitch up the whole cardigan. So this whole project, I haven't had to buy anything else to put towards it. And I've got yarn, spare squares, and a full cardigan out of it for only $2. Like, that's just incredible. You can't find a better bargain than that. I'm just absolutely thrilled. That's just brilliant. So after all of that, was it worth it? Would I do it again? Absolutely. I had an absolute ball. So the only question I have now is, do I add any ribbing or edging around it? So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I'm feeling like I would like some ribbing around the front and possibly the bottom of the cardigan, but I really like the sleeves and the way they sit on my wrist. I like that they're quite an open sleeve. So I don't think I want to put cuffs on the bottom of the sleeves, but maybe around the edging. But the next question now is, what color? Do I stay with the purple? Do I choose a different color? Do I maybe use different colors from the squares? I don't know. I kind of like the purple. I think white would make it stand out way too much, and just there's no real white anywhere in any of the squares, so I don't think white would work. Black might work to help emphasize the different colors, or maybe just stay with the purple and choose a different shade of purple, maybe a light purple or a darker purple. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Help me out here. I love to hear your thoughts, and you always steer me in the right direction, so let me know what you would do to finish it off. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was a fun little project that got you inspired to head out to your local thrift store and see if you can pick up a blanket and let me know what you turn it into. Or if you've already done this project, you've done something similar, let me know what you made. Did you make some bags or a jumper? Did you make a cardigan like me, or a sweater? Or what did you do with it? I'd really love to hear about it. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I really, really appreciate it. Or as always, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, guys. Bye.